When I was a student in Dublin Park 50 years ago, I remember Father Fergus Duffy, Lord be good to him, a native of Navan, telling us a story about his student days. One of his neighbours stopped him one day during his holidays and asked him, "Tell me, what part of the Mass are you at now?" We all laughed at the idea of a student in a seminary spending 7 years studying the Mass. But Father Fergus didn't laugh, because the man, despite his naivety, he had grasped the essence of the life of the priest, that the priest is called upon to celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass with and for the people. And sadly, in Ireland today, more than half the people don't bother going to Sunday Mass, and it is not anymore the centre of the lives of so many. Many don't understand what the Mass is, and yet many still do and make it the heart of their lives. I remember reading about the Roscommon football team maybe back in the 40s when they were preparing for an All-Ireland final. They spent a week together training, and every morning, just as a matter of fact, in the very best sense of that expression, they went to Mass together. It was part of their lives. It was integrated with their lives. And my hope for the coming Eucharistic Congress is that we Irish people will rediscover the Holy Mass as the centre of our lives, as the Second Vatican Council taught that it was. It is the source and summit of our lives as Christians. That understanding of the Mass, which people didn't have in theory before, they had it in practice, I think to a large extent has been lost. And many do not even understand the sense of the real presence of Christ in the holy sacrifice of the Mass, in the Blessed Sacrament, in Holy Communion. So often you hear people speaking of the bread and the wine instead of the body and blood of Christ. There's a poem written by an Irish poet, Fr Sean Coyle, in which he writes about the priest coming to his father every month to bring him Holy Communion. But at the end of the poem, which is in Irish, and I'll just read out the last few words, this is what caused the poet to wonder. Ach Christ a hach a gor a loive a chanig an sagar tho ar rus comoin. What caused him to wonder was Christ coming in a second-hand car the priest bought from a man in Roscommon. For the poet, Jesus Christ, was integrated with his life. Jesus Christ was somebody who came to his bedridden father in an old second-hand car bought from somebody in Roscommon. And my hope for the Eucharistic Congress is that we will rediscover the centrality of the Eucharist, of the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, of the presence of our risen Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, and that it will become the centre of our lives, and that it will bring us back to a desire of wanting to share our faith with others, passing it on to the next generation and bringing it to others in other countries, and at the same time welcoming immigrants from other countries who will help us to revitalize our faith, such as I hope and pray the presence of Filipinos, of Indians, of Nigerians, of Eastern Europeans. I can see it in parishes when I go home, that these are the ones in God's plan revitalizing the Church, as in the past immigrants from Ireland revitalized it, or brought life for the first time to the countries to which they emigrated.